warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, how are you doing? Hopefully everything is gonna be well. Today we are going to talk about discussion tags. I'm sure all of you must be familiar with discussion tags and even do it. We often discuss to find a solution of a problems. In a discussion, there are pros and cons because the discussion is actually to get agreement from others. Well, before we learn discussion tags, let's know about kompetensi dasar. Kompetensi dasar or the lesson will we achieve for this day is membedakan fungsi sosial, struktur teks, dan unsur kebahasaan beberapa teks pembahasan ilmiah atau discussion lisan dan tulis terkait pembahasan isu kontroversial dan aktual dari beberapa sudut pandang sesuai dengan konteks penggunaannya. Tujuan pembelajarannya adalah melalui pembelajaran berbasis teks, peserta didik dapat menerapkan dan menyusun teks interaksi transaksional, lisan dan tulis, pendek dan sederhana, yang melibatkan tindakan memberi dan meminta informasi terkait pembahasan isu kontroversial dan actual or discussion dengan memperhatikan fungsi sosial, struktur teks, dan unsur kebahasaan yang benar dan sesuai dengan konteks penggunaannya. The definition of the discussion text is the text which presents a problematic discourse from different points of view. It means that in the discussion text has two different opinions. Agreement opinions are pro and disagreement opinions are cons. Social function of discussion texts are to present two points of view about an issue and to present arguments from different points of view about an issue. Other text discussion has the generic structures. They are issue. In this part of the text, stating the issue or talking about an issue which is discussed. The second one is arguments. Actually, there are two arguments for and argument cons. And the argument for, that is presenting the point in supporting the presented issue. And the second one is arguments against or argument cons, that is presenting the points which disagree to supporting points. And the last is conclusion or recommendation. That is stating the writer's recommendation. That is the last paragraph. Point we learn about discussion text is language features, and there are language features for discussion text. The first one is focus on human participants. The second one is using words that compare two points of arguments. Example, but, however, in other side. And the next one is using a thinking verb. Using a thinking verb, example of thinking verb like think, feel, hope, believe. That is for thinking verb. And then using simple present. And the next one is using general nouns like alcohol, smoking, abortion, cloning, and then COVID-19. That is for general nouns. Language feature in discussion text are using additive connection. The additive connection example are in addition, furthermore, besides, that is for additive connection. And then using contrastive connection, although, even if, nevertheless, despite, in spite of, that is for constructive connection. And using causal connective. The example is because of, as a result of, since. And then the last is using modal verb. The example are must, can, should, will. That is for the language feature of discussion text. Well, we are going to discuss about the example of discussion text, but before, take a look of these pictures. What do you think about these pictures? Yes, that is about coronavirus, which is spread out all around the world and has bad impact in our education. It is the example of discussion text, the pros and cons of offline school in the midst of a pandemic. There are three paragraphs, and let's read it. The COVID-19 pandemic affects many aspects in our life, including school. Schools are held online in students' respective home. However, there is a discourse that school will be reopened in July 2020 or January 2021. Many parents are worried their children will have to return to school in the near future. It is because some local governments have included plans for reopening schools in a new normal policy. For example, Central Java Education and Culture Office will enforce the implementation of the new normal in its region starting July 2020. Some opinions emerge, such as imposing a safety system, limiting the number of students, and implementing existing health protocols. On the other hand, epidemiologist Dr. Diki Budiman advises not to open the school until the situation gets better. He says that school reopening is risky and it probably rises to the second wave of the coronavirus. The student can go back to school if only the preparation is done and screening process is fulfilled. Furthermore, if the screening process is not fulfilled, school reopening is not recommended for it is dangerous. And the last paragraph, in the end, offline school can only be done if the situation in our country gets better or zero case. Since the case is still rising these days, online school is the best option to avoid the new cluster. Let's analyze for this paragraph. As we know that in discussion text has three generic structure. The first is issue, the second one is arguments, and the third one is conclusion or recommendation. And the first paragraph from this text is called issue because in this paragraph arise the topic or arise the issue that is the offline school in the midst of the pandemic. These two paragraphs, paragraph 2 and 3, are called arguments because in paragraph 2, that is stated the agreement for the topic. So that is called the argument for or pro. And the third paragraph is called argument cons because that is stated the disagreement from the issue. That is stated from the doctor say that the school reopening is risky. It is probably rises to the second wave of the coronavirus. So that is stated that the third paragraph disagreement and the second paragraph agreement statement. Paragraph is in the end, offline school can only be done if the situation in our country gets better or zero case. Since the case is still rising these days, online school is the best option to avoid the new cluster. That is the statement from the writer. So, in this part of the paragraph is called the conclusion or recommendation. Well, that is the end of my explanation about discussion text. I hope all of you have understood about my explanation. Thanks for watching. Happy learning and see you on the next video. Have a nice day.